making no sense to make dollars and holler. On our grounds, rounds leave Moors dead in parlors. So-called blacks call them cracker, then get called Canadian, and shun Moors that say they're not Canadian. This world is full of crazy men with no knowledge of self, but got the most expensive cars and flat screens on the wall shelf, going all the way to try to help you change what you won't. And I hardly hear your opinion of Marcus Garvey, but Steve Harvey stands out, true, cool, and jester, making a fool of you and himself for wealth. To me, those sellouts need to get bodied or exiled to Dr. Moreau's island with Gentiles and reptiles. Fake slave ships stacking bodies in piles, giving fake Jews slave respect, not giving me smiles, calling children kids, chasing after Taji guys, supremacy, use albino and half-breed spies. We catch trespassers with razors and mesh, pedophile, torture, scotch bonnet and open flesh. Traitors get the shitty end of the stick. Our leaders murderers should have been crushed with pyramid bricks. Huey Newton and Hampton killers should be in front of a squad shooting by any means necessary. Get out the beast belly. Why y'all get mad gory and your flows mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you into F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pad or Lori, making me comments mad derogatory. Why y'all get mad glory and your flows mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you in F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pad or Lori, making me comments mad derogatory. It's all about balance, my art the beam. Sellouts made it mainstream. Underground is almost unseen. Gay A&R signed the rappers' contracts in blood. Took his soul, body didn't fall with a thud. He's a zombie, dyed hair, dress wearing thug. Burn that garbage, too much to sweep under the rug. Police can't collar a crime without snitches. You're lucky to escape the custody, not dead with just stitches. Make you hit your hair, take Hindus to Ganesha possess ya, and raising your blood pressure. Anything to do with Moors, they don't want you near. Don't search where it's black, you won't find it there. No matter how much you beg, they won't tell you where. No matter how much you don't have, they won't tell you here. Negroes weren't the first slaves, no reparations first. While you wait for your reparations, it looks like a hearse. They won't pay you reparations anyway, only if you agree to make yourself black and gay. Instead of towards Moors, they want you to stray. Won't find your mind when it's in disarray. Thinking being European is the only way. Hurling insults at your creator, she will get you later. Why y'all get mad glory and your flows mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you into F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pad or Lori, making me comments mad derogatory. Why y'all get mad glory and your flows mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you in F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pad or Lori, making me comments mad derogatory. What's the reason for the treason is the question and the lesson. I hear most professing, but really possessing, taking minds messing with thought patterns and pathways. Nero wanna be a hero when they really cipher, not Neo, not Morpheus or Gillen finding Nemo. Selling out with no remorse, you and yours, calling you black, showing you who's the boss. Always marching but never thought sue the police force or do like Haitians. Add some voodoo, of course, you might hurt them unexpected. It could be bloody, feel your cells curl and your hair stand from walking duppies. Looked, all of a sudden judge yelled and wept. In court, judge with cold sweats and throat strep. You can't talk yet cause the candle was lit before I left. Forget Africa, hip-hop was the grand theft. Why y'all get mad glory and your flows mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you into F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pad or Lori, making me comments mad derogatory. Why y'all get mad glory and your flows mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you in F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pad or Lori, making me comments mad derogatory.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gate Cemetery, February the 4th day, son of Mary, day ahead of my born day, independence alarm, me similar to a lost case, with case laws, we break them down like Jericho, keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho, I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio, fake pandemics announced over the radio, annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains, I'm Rob Bass, mixing with rock the hard way. way. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Salt Bay, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. And over Broadly in plain sight. The people still can't see it, so the snake's still showing up. Stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death, different slavery. Looking for life, the book of Genesis. Astral plane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life. Finishing.
Morris Lamar, key man or oracle, using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical, lost and metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic, facts slap a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic, calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved, or cut like a close shave, drowned in my brainwaves, squashed by heat waves, activating Kundalini, Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini, Selassie I in exile, reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real, all I see is false evidence, yeah, they are feminists, stomped on by elephants, won't let go prejudice but want Moorish benefits, when you feel the pole magnetic resonance, apis horns of the sacred book all maleficent, great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness, no pestilence, ace all the testaments, tap into remembrance, never to forget again, use energy right, not put spell effects on men, wandering the earth plane with no veil of shades, keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades, not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets, holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday, war ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
Islam Moors, peace and love to all. We're here for another analysis. Because I don't know how it is that Moors get caught up playing games with officers of the court as if they have some type of say with regard to anything Moorish out here. Islam Moor.
Islam, you can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Islam, Grand Sheik.
Checking if you're there, yo. You have any thoughts before we start this up?
Yeah, just real quick. The prophet is the man. You know, I just want to lay that out in the beginning, you know, because that's the foundation, you know. When Noble Drew Ali brung us, nationality is the order of the day. No matter what. Nationality. I was thinking about it the other day. We should get a shirt that says nationality matters. we should start pumping that. Nationality matters. Like, because that's what the prophet brung, you know? And what I'm starting to see is but like, you know, just visualizing, like I see it a lot more, that people are taking everything the prophet brung us, using it, but not saying nationality behind it. It just seems like every organization that's created to help so-called Negro colored blacks, they all took the foundation of what Noble Drew Ali brought, but never bring nationality into it. That's why I honors and give thanks to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I just wanted to put that out there first. Islam.
Islam. If anybody wants to get in, the link's in the chat. Just hit the link and we'll bring you on. If you have any thoughts, feel free to hit the link.
Oh, okay. You got the picture up. Okay. I can see, because real quick, Grand Sheik.
Yeah, more.
Because one of the things that already red flag, it's Moors up here talking to a so-called European, and I don't see any fezzes. I don't see no turbans. I don't see none of that. I see NBC's talking.
I don't see our
on
flag
behalf,
in the back. I don't see our
nothing.
flag. I don't see picture of Noble Drew
Nobody,
Ali hanging.
Drew Ali, none of that. Nothing. Nothing. But these are the guys that's supposed to speak on behalf of the Moors. And then you went on their so-called platform, and the title of his thing, now look, you got 3 Moors. I think that's another Moor on top of the European. Okay, so you got 3 Moors, and the heading is debunking myths about Moors. And you came on that? Like, there's no way I would have came on a platform and that's the heading. I don't care whose platform it is. You're not saying that.
Yo, I don't know. I don't know if he was on theirs or they were on his or whatever. But I do know that the European did a after the debate, whatever, and his whole thing throughout his whole video was, well, it was 3-on-1 and all this. It was supposed to be 1-on-1, and then it ended up being 3-on-1 because he brought his friends in on it and all this. I'm like, why would it have to be 3-on-1 against some lawyer, some attorney guy?
Right.
Like, why do you need 2 other Moors to deal with this attorney guy? Like, why? Who's he? Who's he that it's 3-on-1, and then after the fact he's gonna complain about that it was 3-on-1?
That's right. Remember I was saying earlier. That's why. But I need to know what was the foundation of the debate. Like, because that's why we're saying I don't know whose channel they're on. I don't know who contact who. I don't know how that went. I don't know what did they speak about before the video came on. Like, what was the stipulations? What we can talk about, what we can't talk about. Like, that's where a lot of stuff that I want to know. You know, just like you were saying, like, we don't know which way they're coming from, because the Murakush guy, like I was telling you earlier, Grand Sheet, the whole thing is he's still chasing that 1 million views video that he did years ago. So now he's just going on platforms chasing that high, and it doesn't matter what destruction. What we know that video that he first did years ago caused a lot of destruction, but now he's just on a campaign continuing to try to reach that high of getting 1 million views again. But look what he's doing, you know, because my son watches it every time we do class. My son's listening, you know what I mean? So he's trying to just figure out, okay, Daddy, are those good guy Moors, or, you know, what's going on here? And it's just the question alone frustrates me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, come on, man. Why do I have to explain this to my son? Like, yo, y'all should do the right thing. You got my 12-year-old looking at you, questioning me about the wickedness you doing to keep making him get this destruction. You know, because we already got our destruction.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. But at least give them a chance. And they're nope. Just for views. They're gonna keep our children in subjugation. Yep.
And this is part of the campaign, because also too, I left a comment or two on the last House of Reawakening Minds with the master teacher Taj Sharik Bey, and telling people, hey, you guys still this is still the content. The same stuff that you've been talking about for 30 years, 40 years, that he even talked about in the thing. Yeah, we've been telling people this for 40 years or whatever, and people still not getting this. How come? Because they're caught up in this online realm of learning where books and all that stuff are irrelevant. Everybody wants PDFs and Kindles and stuff on their iPad or whatever like that. Nobody other than studious Moors want books. And when I really check, only studious Moors have their stuff straight, where they're not getting played with online stuff. You know what I mean? It's only the, like, not saying you can't go learn online, but if you're learning from anybody online, you're about to be played. Guaranteed. Because it's a whole different energy of individuals that are out there online saying that they're teaching about something Moorish. Everybody's doing it in order to get some type of um, reaction from the people viewing, not for the people who are viewing to learn. Right?
Islam,
It's
brothers.
not more peace and love.
Islam, more.
Peace and love,
Welcome,
peace
you're
and
welcome.
love. From my perspective, I'm seeing that this is becoming like a fashion show.
Here we go.
Bro,
Here we go.
brothers want to be seen and not actually, take the time to respect themselves, because it's a respect thing. If you don't have self-respect, you're gonna do whatever for whatever. So if it be via the internet, because these guys, they not no different than they was in the streets, to be truthful. So even for the brothers that's coming in and just gaining consciousness, they still have to look at it with the same naked eye that they did when, before coming conscious. It's like, if you see a rat, what you gonna do? If you see a snitch, what you gonna do? If you see somebody who words ain't matching their actions, then what do? Why? I don't see the confusion. For children, I see the confusion. Before men, men who claim to understand something, I'm not rolling with it, to be truthful.
Islam, Moors. Well, let's get this started up.
But it's clear, we're not trying to defend any kind of sovereign citizen theory or ideology. So, a discussion is great, my end.
Indeed. Okay, so I guess we can start from the fact of Joe, the lawyer. Could you explain to us what is your synopsis overall of sovereign citizens and Moors that you've seen interact as sovereign citizens or with the sovereign citizens ideology, or persons claiming to be Moors representing such ideology?
Sure. So I think that sovereign citizenship in that ideology can be a problem. I recognize, reading about, the Moorish Science Temple of America. I don't know as much as you gentlemen do. I understand that it's a much longer, tradition than even the sovereign citizen movement, right? If you go back and you look at Posse Comitatus and how the sovereign citizen movement came about, maybe gained popularity in the 1990s, and then at some point.
Go ahead, Mark.
Now, see, what nobody's going in on is the fact that SPLC are the ones that coined Moors as sovereign citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Moors didn't go out and blatantly say we are sovereign citizens. No, because the first thing we learn is we're Moorish American. That's the first thing we learn, is we're Moorish American. When that sovereign citizen crap came out, I was like, what's that? Like, I didn't even know what that was. Never even heard of it. Didn't even acknowledge it. Just thought it was something they were saying, and that doesn't pertain to Moors. I looked at sovereign citizen like black. Like, that's what's that?
Yeah.
Islam, that the sovereign citizen. I'm sorry for cutting your knowledge, brother. The sovereign citizen came from the European. They the ones who here, because we have sovereignty. To say sovereign and citizen, to put that together is an oxymoron. You sovereignty, right, and then having sovereigns, the ones who have sovereignty are the ones who give citizenship. It's these terms that we use, sovereign citizen, is like saying icy hot.
Yep. And that's my thing, is that's this whole debate is trying to put a term on a people where it doesn't even belong there. Like black. It's just, that's how I'm looking at it. I'm like, stop saying that. Stop saying there's a people out there that's black. You're calling them black.
Tying them together as if Moors and sovereign citizen, or Moors and the activity that people classified as sovereign citizen do are the same thing, when they're completely polar opposites and have no connection whatsoever in the context of how they're presenting it. Islam.
That's the trap. That's the trap. Once you feed into the sovereign citizen belief argument, because it's not even real. It's not even real. It's not even real. But as soon as you accept the belief of the argument, they got you. It's not even a who's right and who's wrong. They got you to believe that it's something real. It's not even real.
Islam, even the subject matter. Like, you shouldn't even be speaking like the subject matter, period. Like, these brothers in violation just for even saying that out of their mouths.
That's right. That's what I'm.
And asking him a question about it. Like, what?
Yep. Say that again, brother. That's my whole thing right there. That's my whole thing. You shouldn't be. The question was colored. The topic is colored.
Islam.
But again, like you were saying earlier, the content of Moors or Moorish Americans or Noble Drew Ali or whatever, we have from SETI to now as an example of how much power it has on these people's views numbers when they mention Moors. They got people that just mention Moors and then I talk about Moors in their video. They just put Moors in the title just to clickbait people.
That's the campaign.
So what's going to happen when you put Moors together with sovereign citizen? You're going to get an explosion.
Absolutely.
You know, you're going to get that. You're going to get those quote unquote views that you want because of just putting those things in the title. Just putting Moors, just having the subject matter being sovereign citizen. Like we said, if you go to we had uploaded let me see if it's on here. Somebody, we had uploaded one of these Moors exercising their right to travel, right? And this video right here. And then if you see the amount of so-called Europeans who were on here talking crazy when the highwayman let the Moor go. Like, it wasn't like he got let go. Why are you guys mad? You guys mad because he got let go? And then making up all type of stuff as to why he let him go? Nah, he let him go because the law is you don't need a license. That's stare decisis. That's not some opinion of some highwayman on the corner. You know what I mean? And again, you know, that's another one of those subject matters, you know, right to travel. You put that in, the title of a video, see how much hits it gets. Just because it's in the title. Forget what you're talking about in the video or whatever.
Exactly.
All right. Oh yeah, let's carry on.
There was a mixing of, I would say, sovereign citizens and the Moorish National Temple ideology. Now, I'm not saying now. I honestly don't remember what I wrote in the book, and I don't have it in front of me. It is not my opinion that anybody who's associated with the Moorish Science Temple of America is also a sovereign citizen. It is also not my opinion that all sovereign citizens who are, let's say, you know, of a darker skin, of an African American heritage, etc., are also associated with the Moorish Science Temple. So I recognize that distinction.
Okay.
What I have seen in a lot of the arguments that
good more
because of the three Moors that won't do it, I'll have to do it for them.
Islam.
We are not African American, black, Negro colored, etc. We are Moors. So for those cowards up there who never spoke on that, you know, I'm here to correct the so-called European who's saying that.
Is that let me put it like this, is that something where if there's these type of interactions, engagements going on, and something is said that is that disrespectful, do you think it has to be rebutted at the point of it being said?
Oh, absolutely. My Moabite taught me that. He said if somebody call you
even if there's
out of your,
rules, even if there's rules that they say everybody has 2 minutes or whatever like that, would you be waiting to respond to somebody calling you African American?
Nope. Well, whatever the rules are, I just broke them because I'm correcting that.
Islam.
I don't care. Whatever it was, you lose, whatever. I don't care. I don't care about none of that. What that mean? I'm correcting that. Cause that's the lowest of the lowest. He's back to putting y'all. He just told European by himself. Just called all 3 of them slaves.
Islam.
Oh, and for the record,
and they didn't say a word.
And for the record, just so it's known, you already know how we do it with these videos and stuff like that. We don't pre-watch in order to come up with how we're gonna deal with something.
No, I never seen this.
Just like everybody else. So whatever you get is what you're gonna get. So if they come up later and they defend African American and say, you know, that's not who we are and all that stuff, we even know that was coming. All we're saying is it's not getting to you're having some type of conversation, say something, and then continue on without Moors who know about their nationality and birthrights not stopping you out immediately and correcting that and making you correct it too.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
And it was bothering me most, and I try not to take things personally, is that I don't know where this man is going. Like, what was the point when he asked a question? Is he even answering the question that he asked? So he like going, I don't even know what he's talking about. And I don't know what these brothers are doing. So they asked him a question. What is this sovereign citizen thing, right? How do you feel about it? He hasn't said anything. They haven't said anything. They should be schooling him on the separation of the two. I'm just really confused about what the purpose, like already. We ain't got past what? 30 seconds of the video, a minute of the video, and it's already confusion. It's like, y'all know, well, they should know that they're not sovereign citizens. Why are y'all talking about the topic then, unless you're trying to school this attorney about what your status is?
Right.
Letting him speak about a book that he don't remember what he put in the book and he ain't got it. Like, huh?
He wrote it. It's his book.
His book.
Yeah, like you wrote the book. I don't remember what I said in it, and I don't have in front of it, but I do know this and I do know that. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, it's foolishness. I'm trying
for his own book.
Yeah, like that's it's foolishness.
No, what's crazy? What's crazy? I think the book is new. It ain't some ancient. He put it out 20 years ago or something like that. I think the book came out like some months ago or something. Maybe a year tops, if that.
And he has no background on the temple. He has no background on the prophet. And so why is he speaking like that? You know what I mean? If you have no background, then what premise are you speaking from then?
It's
the sovereign citizens, where there's overlap, where you have the sovereign citizens who also claim some association with the Moorish Science Temple of America, is, in my opinion, they make certain claims that I believe to be factually incorrect. I also may, like, you know, this is
more
factually,
you know,
yeah,
factually incorrect.
That's that lawyer talk.
like, I mean, we all know what facts mean. What's an incorrect fact? Like
fraud.
Okay, so but if it's fraud, then it's not a fact.
Then it's not a fact. Most
So,
definite.
Him, you, and they sitting here listen to this man say factually incorrect. So I mean, just to work, critical thinking. Are they using the facts incorrectly? Because I've never heard of factually incorrect.
But remember, their argument is Moors are sovereign citizens. So the argument alone is colored.
Gotcha.
You know, we got to keep, because see, that's why I keep saying it. We got to remember the whole thing is colored. So as soon as we start digging in and listening to them, we already know, wait a minute, from the beginning, this whole thing is colored. The whole thing. So when they start continuing on talking, let's just keep remember from the beginning, this whole thing is colored.
Islam.
The whole thing.
At that point, after factually incorrect, that's when I click off. That would have been the end. That would have been the end of me even watching this. I'm not even going. I ain't gonna stunt.
It's love.
What like I think I remember one more say what country is sovereign citizen? I said, now look at that.
Look at that.
What's the flag of sovereign citizen? Where's the treaty for sovereign citizen?
Islam.
Where are these? We talking about facts, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are these things? In order to even prove your argument, to even have some anything. Where these people that you keep saying are sovereign citizens, I want to see their treaties and all of this stuff.
Islam. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Put it on the record and for the record.
Mm-hmm.
You're making up fairy tales. There's no such people on this planet that their bloodline is sovereign citizen. There's no such thing. No such thing.
Well, this guy here would say that's factually incorrect.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Because he thinks we're African American, black.
Islam.
When we can prove,
he said it. Yeah, he said it.
When we can prove factually that those terms delude to slavery, we can prove that. That's a fact. That's provenly factual. Like we can prove that.
Islam.
That his Jesse Jackson term that he just used.
Act of 1682 in Virginia laws, right? Christian black codes.
There you go.
I mean, it's plenty of them, but these brothers, I mean, just looking at them, and I'm sorry, I hate to stay on that. I'm gonna let the video ride and stop interjecting. I appreciate you brothers for allowing me here, but like just looking at them, we already know what they are, and that right there, that's dangerous. So
right.
That's, we had to address those brothers, whoever these guys are. We need to talk to them because they don't need to be doing anything in our name, and that's been the problem in Americas, in the Americas period. Other people doing things in our name, and this right here, this whole thing, and for your son saying because we can't take their lineage away from them, but they definitely working for the other side.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I can't back down from it. I mean, I probably have criticisms of, some of the facts that the Moorish Science Temple of America may put forward. You guys may be able to clarify some of that for me. But, the sovereign citizens, what I've seen is they claim that, there was the treaty that was written between Morocco and the United States in 1777. Okay, so there's this treaty, and the Moorish sovereign citizens claim that this treaty makes them exempt.
It's love. It's love. It's love. It's love.
My opinion, that's the wrong date. That's the wrong date.
Yo, whose boy is this?
Right, man.
Yeah. Why, like, yo, nobody's correcting that? He's gonna go
Exactly.
Morris, sovereign citizen. Like, nobody's correcting that?
They're
Where's he
taking,
getting these terms from?
hey, Yusuf, they're taking your rules, yo. Let them talk.
Yo, let them talk. Let them talk. They're gonna kill themselves every time. Every time. Just let them talk. That European is burying himself. I'm like, Morris, sovereign citizen. What? And then, like, only reason why I want to correct them is because, in law, if you don't correct what they saying, it stands as law. So we have to correct what they're saying, or other words, it's gonna stand as law. So when they did that video, because law governs everything, they was in court. Court is the world. Court. They was being judged off rip. The whole nation can see this. This is on the World Wide Web. The world can see that you just stood there and let him call you these brands, and you didn't say nothing about it. That stands as law. That stands as law. That's why I can't let it happen. This is on the World Wide Web. Whole world gonna see this. I don't care what they do with the numbers, and they make it seem like the Grand Sheik don't have thousands of views. Grand Sheik getting thousands of views.
Islam.
I hear people talking, and I'm like, yo, we just said that in class. How y'all know about that? But we talking about that, and these is senators and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, they listening. They all listening. They all listening.
Islam, do you know why? Because a lot of them are learning. They probably don't even know.
Islam.
They probably don't even know. So
Islam more.
Islam, brother.
Peace and love, Morris.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
They probably don't know, and if they do, they already know that the cat is out the bag, and they just trying to go ahead and cover it up so it won't look like they, was keeping this information. You know how how the trick bag is.
Speaking of bag, like I look at this as a payment for all the gentlemen that was involved in this, because, like, forget about the dates and all that. They're talking like Moors made up, like the Moors of today created the concept of a treaty being there. We didn't create that concept.
Islam.
You can go to the Library of Congress and find that, and you can get it sealed and find that and put it on the documents, and then they'll recognize that. So I don't. This whole game here is to bring the sovereign citizen back into it, because obviously after Sharif did that video, we must have tore it up. Like, we must have really tore it up, because for them to have to do this, because they, people are going to see this or whatever, and then they calling themselves Moorish nationals or whatever, for them to like keep going with this, and then it's 3 against 1, it makes it seem like that's how many Moors is needed to even stand on something that's already recognized by law. And then why is the debate not why is he still here, being the European?
Islam.
Why are you here? Because I'm pretty sure he probably puts the comma and then the Esquire. Why are you here? And not, where your blood goes back to. Because as I study just sanguinis, I've understood this to the point where if you're not talking just sanguinis, you're going right into feudalism. Because Just Soleil is like synonymous with feudalism, because they bring in their lords and their crosses and their, like, their subjugation of the family line, because it's to tie into either a brotherhood, because it's all about tying into a book family, like a family from a book. Like, literally, if we were to sit here right now, because we got elves, we act like that we could tie our bloodline back to Kal-El because we read the comic book. That's what they do with the Bibles and stuff. Now, we know that those stories are basically based off of our family lines, but for them to take it and make it real, and then to like act like you can really tie your family back to that book, and then our people following them and not tying back to their real families, the ties to the lands with the monuments, with the the etchings on the stone, literally,
where you can go back and find the Phoenician writings. You can go back and find the writings of your ancestors all over the stones and the lands that we have right now. Moors need to do that. Like if you studying your bloodlines and all that, go do the walking genealogy of where your people came from and find the monuments of where they say they was at. Like check the waterways and check where they got like hills and mountains. This is where your ancestors left like certain inscriptions and stuff. You can go find those, and those are yours based off of the blood. So whatever he's talking about is taking that way out of proportion from that type of conversation into like a speculative what the treaty might do, and if the like we're talking about sovereign citizens, and we all know that comes from his people.
Islam.
I yield the floor.
And what more in his right mind will be like, you know what? We're gonna invite us, a so-called European, to openly, publicly call us out our name and just sit in front of them. Because that's what this is. Yeah, call me all type of whatevers.
Dude, that these individuals who argue that the treaty makes them exempt from American law, okay, also state that they
wait.
heritage and or from North Dakota.
So I guess we're not having this. So I guess we're not having a constitutional debate then. It can't be based off Constitution because he violated 6 right there, Article 6, which is everything's pursuant to the treaties. So and all the officials and officers, so-called agents, they're all bound. So if he took his oath to office, he's bound to the treaty that he's talking against right now. Ain't that treasonous?
That's treason.
Why don't Moors really get on our stuff? And this is treasonous right now. Caught him with his mouth wide. Europeans need to know, like the Europeans that deal with this type of stuff, that this man is talking against the Constitution based off of the Article 6, and the treaties hold weight as far as the Constitution even being alive, and everybody knows it. They did it right in my city, or so-called city, right in the so-called Masonic built temple in the Benjamin Franklin room. That was in a Masonic temple where Hillary came. Nobody even noticed that. Why? Because they can't do it in public. So for Moors to be raising the flag in so-called Philadelphia with the guy out there and he's old Nibble Drew Alley always saying his name wrong, right? For that to happen, it's done in public. That's subjugation. That's not even real. They got the fringes on the flag. People study right, and then you know what you're looking at. This what it say? Attorney audit agitator.
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, what about arbitration, attorney? You know, deal with you, take it to arbitration and mitigation instead of litigation, and let him meditate on it. See, that's the way. Like once I studied like how they were doing law, like all the way back in the day, like back in what they would call the Roman times, but we already know that's the Moorish times. They had 3 men that were not of the so-called argument to meditate and sit there and like listen to whatever the case was and then go deal with it, in private. So it wasn't based off of like putting people in jail and all that. It was based off of however they could solve whatever happened, and if they could make both parties go away happy. After feudalism, and after the Reconquista and all the subjugations of the subjugations of shutting down the second side of the Moorish Empire was when they came over here and tried to start mixing up everything. This guy is just it's a rebirth out of that. And then for the Moors that he's on there with to not be claiming anything and not saying back, that's acquiescence based off of what Noble Drew Ali put forth. So they just went back to the state off of this debate.
And again, this is a thing where we get the whole debate, whatever, and all that stuff, but we'll see what they say when it's their turn to talk. But there's no way that you're calling Moors African Americans and it's just blowing over. There's no way that you're violating the Constitution and treaty by claiming that certain stuff doesn't apply to people and all that stuff when it's the supreme law of the land and it's just getting blown over. It can't be done like that. But we'll see what they say.
Grant Sheet, he said out of his mouth that the Moors believe that they outside of American law, that we outside of the law of the land. That was his last statement.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see what's good.
In the book, I do have a paragraph where I address race. I didn't mean, my intent is not to discriminate against anybody of a certain race, but I have seen these sovereign citizens claim that, they talk about the color of their skin. They tie that back to Morocco and North Africa, and maybe even further back to the Levant, to
Islam. More. Go ahead.
Islam. Another thing, remember, soon as he goes in with that race thing, that's what allows Europeans to even exist. The concept of the ideology of race, since they like to throw that ideology word around, the concept of race is what makes a European even exist. Race is rasa. It's a Latin word, which is a defective piece of cloth. It has nothing to do with phenotype, your skin color, nothing. It comes from the Spanish Inquisition when they was doing the purity of your religion. That's where the Moriscos came in and all of that, where you was so-called Muslim, because that's how Europeans are able to write them, to have a history, to have a life, to have some, I'm a part of this earth, because they weren't unless they had religion. Religion is what put them part of the earth. And if you weren't Christian, you were the other side. And that's where it was rasa, not of the pure, of the purity of religion. Has nothing to do with Carlos Linnaeus in the 16th and 17th century took the inquisitional concept of rasa and not purity and made it into phenotypes with the nose and skin tone and all of that. But before that, there's no such thing as race. Only race is on your mark, get set, go, or NASCAR. That's the only races there is. Hussein Bolt and stuff. That's a race. Yep. That's the race. This concept of Carlos Linnaeus, French Bloc, Bonner, Frederick Blumenbach, all of them made this whole thing up. Made it up. There's no such thing as this. Moors, when they talk about Moors, they tell you they were the art and culture civilization. They did astronomy, physics, etc. It never says shit about race. Excuse my language. They don't say nothing about no race. We didn't. They just made that up. We're living in that time of that color term race. And that's where Europeans can make it seem like they're part of the world. Don't let them do it. There's no such thing as race. As soon as you get it out of here, Europeans out of here. Mm-hmm. Because that's how they are able to attach themselves in with that concept of race. They made that up. There's no such thing. They made that whole thing up. I know Moors love that race crap. I know it. But I can't make that up. I read it. I studied it. I said, oh, they made this up. There's no such thing as, no. They used that against the Inquisition towards the Moors. And on Andalusia, when they was trying to kick us out, they was using that concept of purity. And now today we use it as it's just the Inquisition. It's not race. Race is the cover-up in the guise of race. It's inquisitional practices that's going on here in Morocco. That's what's really going on. And then they want to tie it into race. No, that's fraud. That's fraudulent. Just like the concept of sovereign citizen, that's fraudulent. Concept of race, that's fraudulent. But that's what keeps Europeans thriving. That's what can keep them talking. But once you just get that out of your brain, like, yo, that's not real. That doesn't exist. Europeans don't exist. So-called Europeans don't exist.
Yeah.
That's why I say, like, we say all the time. Just let them talk.
Talk, yo. Straight.
Islam yourself, like you when you brought up the purity of blood, like, and then the purity of blood was them actually saying, like, yo, like, we got brotherhoods, like, forget they family lines, come to our brotherhood and join our club or whatever, and then whoever can prove their bloodline back to Jesus the best, then you got a damn bloodline now. You get to come into our stuff. So it's based off you being able to lie good off of their books. Same thing with the how they did with Islam. Same thing how they did with Judaism. They subjugated all the religions, all the secret societies, all the so-called political movement. They subjugated everything. So when we see it as it look now, of course it's backwards. And I like how they keep trying to say, oh, Moors is North African.
Yeah.
Because what they're trying to do is say, oh yeah, they're not from the land. There's some other Africans. Well, watch this. How come when we find all these laws here that's based off of Moors, like the law that you can find in what was that, Georgia? You look at Georgia State Archives from 1818. They have a law where they were talking about a different way to deal with the Negroes and the free people of color.
Yep,
but
the
in
Delaware
that law,
Code.
they talk
Delaware
about
Code, same thing.
Yeah, Hindus. It said the Hindus, the Aborigines, the Free Moors, and the Lascars. They are not of these subjugations. But if a free person of color wanted to be, they had to prove on their own accord that they were a Moor. So it was on you. It was you had the burden of proof. So with them now, they have the burden of proof, and they're not doing a good job. Well, we haven't heard them yet, but for him to even be able to put these things and be able to finish the sentences, it's like he's putting it in the ethers. Europeans don't even, should not even be able to deal there. You're supposed to be able to shut them down just off your presence for it to come to all of this. So where's the respect? Where's the respect? Well, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. This is not like, oh, I think something of the sovereign citizens. He's saying sovereign citizens are saying that there was a treaty and saying that they're the Northwest Africans. Well, that already makes it sound like the sovereign citizen people aren't from here.
Islam.
But we are speaking about Moors from here, by basically being from here. Everybody know their bloodline and they family lineage, and we tying it back to Moor. I know it's Arawak and so-called Tasalagi in my bloodline, but that's really Moorish because they only use those to make languages to communicate with Europeans or foreigners. I know that for a fact. Like, they made languages up for them. And that's the ones we know today.
Even if you follow their timeline, right? From the fall of Granada, right? From 1492. January 2nd, 1492. Then when the so-called journey to the New World, they didn't make it here to August, right? Why? The thing is, if you were fighting North Africans, why didn't you take over their stuff? Why would you sail west, and why didn't you come here before? That's because the stronghold was here. Even in the timeline that was created, it still showed that after the fall, then they moved where they couldn't come to the land of milk and honey, to the Americas. It's even in their timeline.
Islam. Oh, and also would ask if Moors aren't talking, just mute your phone in case there's some background noise.
Okay.
The Holy Land, to the Middle East. And I just believe that a lot of the people who are making these claims are likely not, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but are likely not genetically connected to those areas. Now, I could be wrong about that, and I'm not backing that up with science. That is strictly speculation. But I think they are making claims. They're saying, look, I'm a darker skinned person.
He in a conversation. I'm doing this off
speculation. That was it.
I'm doing this on speculation, no science. So what are you talking about? You're not talking about anything. And none of these so-called Moors have stopped him one time.
Well, again, by the looks
Science
of the
means to know.
by the looks of the of how everything's set up, I think he was the one running it, and then they were brought in, or I don't know. But however it works, there should have been some type of, pardon the interjection, going on.
Right, but in the beginning,
you should. If you think you on mute, hold a sign up in the back. Right.
It's like, but
I would hold a sign up in the back. That's what I would do.
Islam. But didn't in the opening, didn't they ask the question? Didn't one of the so-called Moors, didn't he pose the question? So obviously he was the host, because he the one who asked the question. And once you start talking about speculation, not basing it off science, I don't know, then what are we talking about? How you debunking any myths about the Moors and you don't know nothing?
Yeah.
Islam. Now remember, this lawyer guy, so he should have some type of knowledge of dictionaries. When he says science, automatically we know science means to know. So he just disqualified himself to even speak, because you don't know nothing. Science means to know. Doesn't mean, oh, those chromosomes over there and that DNA. No, that don't mean that. That don't mean that. Science means to know. So if you don't know, you just disqualified yourself. That's why we just say always, just let them talk. And then it was another, I think you might have to rewind it. He said something else. He said something else real crazy that bothered me. I just forgot, but if you can rewind it probably 15 seconds, he said something.
Discriminate against anybody of a certain race, but I have seen these sovereign citizens claim that, you know, they talk about the color of their skin. They tie that back to Morocco and North Africa, and maybe even further back and to Holy Land, to the Middle East.
Okay, so his whole, soon as he starts talking like that in front again, he's putting those three, like he acting like he don't know that we're Moors. He's telling those three that he believes we're slaves. Like soon as they say that, oh, you guys aren't Moors. Okay, so you think we're slaves? Because that's the opposite. The only opposite of not being a Moor is being a slave. So if they just sitting there letting him talk crazy like that, they're slaves. They're agreeing to be the slave. Like soon as he starts, oh, from the motherland, and they think they're from here, and so he doesn't agree that we're Moors. So then you're a slave. He believes that we're black. This lawyer guy, he believed that there's a people on the planet that calls themselves two continents, African American. He believed, this lawyer guy, posted a PhD, all that. He thinks a people can be two continents. He thinks a people can be a color. This is a lawyer guy. And nobody's correcting that. Nobody doesn't see an agenda that they're still pumping, because if they saying that you're not a Moor, they're saying you're a slave. There's nothing else you can be.
And I just believe that a lot of the people who are making these claims are likely not, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but are likely not genetically connected to those areas. Now, I could be wrong about that, and I'm not backing that up with science. That is strictly speculation. But, you know, if I think they are making claims, they're saying, look, I'm a darker skinned person. I am from Morocco. That's my heritage. And because of this treaty, I do not have to follow the American law. So that's why I tied that in my book. let me just say, I recognize there are sovereign citizens who claim to be tied to the I guess the Moorish movement. I don't know. Maybe we need a name for sovereign citizens that are not part of the actual Moorish Science Temple of America. But these, I have seen them. There are, I don't know if they are white but they're clearly not maybe of an African heritage.
Who's
some white member,
Islam. You see it?
Middle Eastern, etc.
Who's we?
This is
when he said we need to come up with another name.
Yeah.
When he said we need to come up with another name for the Moorish sovereign temple people or whatever, who's we? The three that's up there with him?
Exactly. I mean, he want to come up with another.
And nobody's doing no correcting. This is frustrating. This is frustrating, man. This is frustrating.
It is.
I'm not even mad at them so-called European. It's those dirty Moors.
Those dirty Moors.
Not even European doing his job. That's his job.
That's his job. Islam.
That's his job. I wouldn't expect nothing else from him. It's those other three.
I mean, this is incredible, man. Everything that came out his mouth from the beginning to the end. I mean, ain't been
you right, brother.
But chewed up grass. It ain't been nothing but chewed up grass, man.
And this is why I get frustrated at the people who get mad at the Grand Sheik for exposing the dirty Moors. Saying, oh, you shouldn't be coming at your brother. Are you serious?
Are you serious?
My son just came up to me and asked me, what's going on? He wants to know. Okay, daddy, what's going on? Like, I have to explain this to my son. And y'all talking about, oh, you guys shouldn't be going back and forth. Yo, my 12-year-old brother. I don't even know what y'all talking about right now.
Mm-hmm. Then look who they let in spearhead. Dude should be here with a pad and a pencil, ready to get knowledge. He running the show. And strictly saying, I don't know anything about anything. I'm speculating. No science. This is just what I think, in my opinion. Dude not qualified to even be having this conversation. So why is he allowed on this platform to be talking? He don't even remember what's in his own book.
Islam.
So that's why I tied that in. It's not my intent to discriminate against anybody based on race, but I brought it up because I believe that is some of the argument that the sovereign citizens make. That I've seen them, many of them do this. I've seen them say, look, I am of a darker skin, therefore, the American laws can't apply to me. This treaty from 1787 is what gives me diplomatic immunity, and they point to their own skin color as a reason that they are immune from the law. So that's why I bring that up in my book.
Appreciate that clarification. That was a very good, thorough
oh, come on, man.
Explanation to your perspective.
You can't be serious, man. Oh my God.
So obviously we're not going to deal with nothing the prophet was talking about, because this dude just trampled upon all of that.
Like you say, let him talk.
Said, I have no science to back anything that I'm saying is speculation. And this dirty man, what I really want to call him, but this dirty Moor comes and say, man, that was a thorough explanation. Like, come on, man.
That was thorough, though.
You could hear the ignorance and just just them couple words alone when he came off. You already know this is about to go to the ignoranceofallignorance.com. Like real rap.
That's sad, man.
Let's hear this. Because I know where this is about to go. His
Yeah, I
voice
want to
sounded
hear.
ignorant.
Like I said, this is fresh off the press. So we're just gonna hear what they gotta say. Let's see if the boys make me say whoa on this thing.
Some of your points. I'm gonna go to Brother Illamir. Do you have anything you want to say in response or posit or corroborate?
No, not at the moment. I mean,
Islam.
Interesting.
Oh my gosh, dog.
Attorney debates the Three Stooges. That's what that title should be. The attorney debates the Three Stooges.
What is it? What is this? What is this debunking myths about Moors? He said everything about sovereign citizens. He didn't say a lick about Moors.
Exactly.
What is going on here? Why are they not in the temple or something? Why are they just sitting out front of on the porch? He ain't make it off the porch. He ain't hop off the porch. So what? And so he's confused. He don't know where to go. So basically that speculative presentation we just seen is what got him baffled. Befuzzled. Look at him though. Really look at boy. He kind of looked like, it ain't all there. Like, why would you not know what to say? First thing I would want to know is where are you from? Where are you from? And then he's gonna be like, oh, I'm from Wyoming. My family has lived there based off of that's Just Soleil, but Just Sanguinis is right of blood. Where your blood go back to? Oh, I'm a mutt. I'm Switzerland. So how do you think you can speak about what goes on in America if your blood go back to Switzerland, this and that? Why don't you go back to Switzerland, this and that, and deal with what they're doing over there? And then still bringing in the subjugation of the Moors, because he's saying that he's still trying to base it off that, well, I can't find a genealogy to where these people are from over there. Exactly. Yeah, well, probably not today because of the subjugations that happen.
The amalgamations that happen.
Right. And even with the amalgamations, it's all about the people that's there now that look like us. Like, yo, hold up, I'm here. My grandmama and them been lived down there. Where y'all came in something like how we're doing knowledge right now. That's on everybody in every nation, everywhere in the world to be doing that same type of information and breakdown when it comes to some European or some foreigner that's never been from there. You're supposed to break them down and lay down whatever your law is, whatever your family's code is. Because that's how you honor your ancestors. You're not going to stand on their laws. You're just going to let these people come plow over you. Well, we're watching it right now. We're watching it right now, full effect over the digital internet. He's like, imagine him in real life, yo. Imagine this more in real life. Where your fez? Where your turban, more?
And total violation.
Off the rip. Just sitting at the house. He's at a house. Where is he? A state? Like. I don't understand what I'm looking at right now. We're obvious. Okay, so there's black guys that are confused that are letting him call them sovereign citizens, and they don't got no regard to it. They don't have no response. I don't know, man. That was a good job. I mean, I don't know. I'm good. What do you mean you're good? We good. Start with the treaty first, and start with how he's talking like the treaty is just only recognized by so-called sovereign citizens. They don't talk about no treaty. The treaty is recognized by the Library of Congress. So are they sovereign citizens?
It's wrong.
Like, you're only here, like just like you said, brother. Like, the Sultan let it be known, and he opened the Moroccan ports, and they came here.
Islam.
So how y'all not in Morocco if you came here when he opened the Moroccan ports? This would have to be a Moroccan port, aka a Morocco.
And then later, the Treaty of Tripoli then opened up the other ports going along the Mediterranean Sea. So it was over here first that it even opened up.
1796.
1796, 10 years later.
Exactly. They want to play though. They want to play. They want to make it seem like that everything was created over there, and we didn't create over here first, and then they came over here and built that land over there. Because think about it, they didn't come out with the Egypt that we're looking at today until when the Europeans say he found it, like 1938. What in the Roswell is that? What is that?
And it's unfinished.
Come on now, they ain't finished. Oh my God, because the rest of it is over here. Exactly. You forgot to take the rest. No, like real rap, yo. We are thinking like that we didn't do anything over here. Do people ever understand? Like, think about the fact that when they show history or any history in books, they never expound on the empire over here. Well, they do, but never like in public manner. Why has it got to be a secret so much anymore? Why can't we hear all of Noble Drew Ali's oral speeches? I don't want to hear just some of them.
Exactly.
Let me hear them all. Because it might be right. See, if right now the prophecies is kicking, like they kicking, why can't we hear all of them? We might need to hear those because those might be the junk, like the real ones. He probably dude probably prophesies Trump. Who knows?
No, well, see, because those ones are for the Adab chamber.
Oh man, here we go. Cujo, you made me read Silent Brotherhood, and I found out the Adab chamber was dead, and I was speechless. I was like, wait, how? The whole time. So this is all about it's spiritual. Don't be looking for no Supreme Grand Council unless you're looking for your heart to be the Supreme Grand Council, because that's the only thing that's going to lead you. Because you can meet a law there. There's nothing else. There's nothing else, beyond that. After the prophet, you can only go for a law. Or did he say go to somebody else after me to call himself me, and find the NOI and then find Christianity? Find your way back out of all of that confusion, and then claim houses for sovereign citizenship. Yeah. And about sovereign citizenship, didn't we give them let them adopt sovereignty, right? So if they were the citizens at the time of the adoption, won't they be the original sovereign citizens? Right.
Posse comitatus.
Right, based off of the Moors. But when they take the 14th Amendment, 1871, that fake organic. They take the 14th Amendment and they make that supposed to be supreme law of how you be here and how you're a citizen, but that was never ratified. Tennessee was the only one that really dealt with it. The really ones that really signed on. Everybody else was like, nah. So you need at least what, 3/4 or 2/3? I mean, well, what happened?
More in the chat brought a good one. This what we should put this European up against Rick Smith. See what happened.
Ooh. Don't even Peter Mooney, just Rick Smith real quick.
Let's put Peter Moon and Rick Smith on this European. See what happens.
Right. Like, shoot, it'll be disaster because he don't even know his books.
Bring Latifah on to deal with this.
Latifah choking. Yeah. With his own lies, he's choking. What are we talking about?
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. We could have just played Latifah videos.
Just play Latifah videos out of him.
We could have just played Latifah videos and killed him.
Shoot, man, it's like Latifah breath of fresh air,
or Michelle Gibson.
Yeah, Michelle. Oh my gosh, what? I was just watching her. Goodness.
Islam brother.
Michelle Gibson.
Islam brother. Michelle Gibson.
Islam. I don't know if you got anything to add in yet.
Man, I do. I wanted to ask a question when he said, I know he was making speculations or whatever. When he said he didn't know their genealogy or genetics as of over there, like brother said, well, if it's not over there, then and we as Moors are telling you that we're in Africa. Why would you go look over there? Like, and what's also funny, right? On the title, it said debunking myths about the Moors. I'm guessing he's talking about the ones that's on the video with him, because we don't know those bodies. So that's the Moors that he's talking about. Yeah. And right, so it's funny. So he said, so they moved everything over there. I was laughing while I was on mute. So our brother said they moved everything over there. They moved everything and they not finished. So you're right, brother. They did move everything over there when Richard Pryor discovered the Book of the Dead, and he said they were all Moors. That's when they started moving everything.
They tried to lock him in a shallow grave in the north.
And it's one thing he never said. It's one thing he never said. So he was talking about the treaty and the treaty in 17 such and such, right? So he never specifically said, well, the Morocco over there was started in 1956.
Exactly.
Well, damn.
Well, we'll see what they say. Another one, just as you're talking about Richard Pryor. Another one too is Stephen Fetchit. Cause he's from over here. It's the Stephen Fetchit by pyramids, and they're talking about he's in Africa. How slaves get from over here over there?
They was calling him that while he was a millionaire, by the way. One of the first millionaire Moors over here.
It was like, well, then they say, well, Africa is ancient. The desert is such and such. Well, we got a desert too. Our desert actually is the hottest on the planet. So how can Africa over there? How can Africa over there be ancient? But this is the thing, though. I'm a quote something from the Prophet in the Holy Quran. He said the Ham came over here, right? And his descendants went to Africa. So if Africa is so ancient, how come there are children? They post-date us. They post-date us, not predate. They post-date us. So how is it that Africa over there is 1,000 years behind us, and we're 500 years behind the European by way of rewinding the clock? So I be asking them all the time. I'm like, so when those Africans come over here, they say, well, I'm from over here. They were like, so, how old are y'all over there? Like, well, we're ancient. Y'all still dress like us.
Islam
200 years ago. Y'all dress like us now when we dressed 200 years ago in the feathers. So Noble Drew Ali was right in the whole essence, because man, you gotta understand it, bro.
Bro, might have been a time traveler. Might have been a time traveler, bro. Because it's like, no it's way crazy because writing exact like
if you read, he said, look, it's crazy. He said, so CM Bay said they added 580 years. So think about it. How we dressed 200 years ago is how they dress now. The feathers, the seashells, they dress like that now when we did that 200 years ago. So that goes and shows you how far ahead that we are ahead of them, and they don't even know. Like, so it's like when they say, so the Pan-Africanism, they like the Pan-Africanism. They say, go back to Africa. Well, y'all do understand that Africa was created like 75 years ago.
Yep. That's exactly what I was like picking on. Like, yo, it just happened.
And then they forget Pangea. All Moors know about Pangea. So how can we not forget that at one time the whole world was one?
Let's
we Pangea by blood. The whole world is one because we was the first, the original man. The whole world was one by the Moabites. The whole world was Pangea by blood, by our bloodline. All four corners of the earth. We connect.
So them three Moors just is violation.
They just a violation.
Acquiesced into the latches.
It's a good thing they got their faces off.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes.
We took enough this year.
But they probably don't even know what one is.
Or they trust me.
Of course, he said.
My gosh.
He said they from Africa. He said they from Africa, brother.
They know exactly what a fez is, especially if they were Moors in court wearing them.
No, they just watched a Taj video yesterday. They just seen Taj yesterday and tried this today.
But they can't say the fez is not old, because we can take them all the way back to Hannibal.
Yeah.
Like, come on now, Hannibal and his people was wearing it when they was crossing the Alps.
Right.
Like, that's crazy.
I was about to talk about the Assyrians. You see the Assyrians handshaking with the
Yeah.
dang turban, and one got a fez on.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
Olmecs rocking the fez where the
Yeah.
tassel
Man.
laying in front so you can see it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? Everybody wants
Easter
to.
Island, Easter Island with the stone fezzes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, don't forget the Incas. They had the special fez. That fez
Yep.
with the double tassel,
Man.
the red
Yeah.
tassel coming out the front. Big gold fez. Play with it.
Yeah.
They had the half moon with the tassel. Yeah, all that.
Right.
The half moon. Where did that come from?
Here come cousin Charles V with a damn crown on. They looking at him like fool. Like in the picture, he looking at him like, why are you doing this? It's like,
Right.
and he still trying to get to Islam. It's like, no, put your fingers down. Like, it's crazy, bro. And it's to see this happen now, it's like I feel like we understand that we were alive back in the day. So
Indeed.
it's really bugged to us to see this right now in this time, and people just going like berserk crazy. And we remember the times of like the mother sitting on a throne and you go sit on her lap and everybody see that. They like, man, he the prince. He the prince. Don't leave him alone. He the prince. But your mom was sitting in the throne. They called the mom the father, the mother, the everything. Just like how it is now.
Yeah.
But it was more adoration for her. They destroyed all the adoration messing with this stuff. Like this is part of the subjugation of mother, the way I look at it.
No, we're not
Why
gonna-
he need to defend his mother right now as a European and just try to screw it all around and call her a sovereign citizen. Why don't you
What does
stand up
this?
for your
What
mother?
does this dude say?
We're gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and hear what they have to say
I'm about to mute.
in defense of
I'm about to mute mine too, because I'm about to be laughing.
Yes, I mean, I personally haven't looked at maybe the arguments that he has maybe looked at. The whole the skin thing. I mean, I guess I could perceive it with a lot of the misconstrued notions and stuff that's floating around about Moorish identity and you know, the history of Black Americans, African Americans, Moorish Americans, whatever you want to call them.
Come on,
Sorry.
So he knows.
It's
So he knows.
Y'all start, because this is crazy.
I was like, oh, nobody's not gonna say nothing to that one.
Yusef, you can start from the top to the bottom because this is crazy. He just said that.
Or whatever, Moorish Americans or whatever, the Black Americans, the tigers, the bears. Right.
Man, bro.
Oh my.
Yeah, oh my, right? We in the land of Oz. Come on, man.
My ruby slivers aren't working.
It's always your own.
For any viewers, if you ever hear anything like this, run away. You see this man in traffic, run away from him. Stay as far
Anybody
away
talking
from him.
like
That's
Yeah,
dangerous.
like the Great Chief said though. We're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and let him talk. And he did not.
You
soon
made
as I
me
would have
put
had my
foot out,
opportunity.
man.
You got to run.
You-
Run hard, too.
Soon as he got the
You made me
opportunity, he
put
killed
my-
himself.
You made me put my stuff out, man. How dare this man put all those appellations ahead of the national name? Bruh, he said Moorish Americans.
And then whatever the national name.
Whatever. Damn.
Like,
He whatever the bloodline.
That's like when them people
He
be
whatever
saying,
it.
man, that Moorish sugar honey iced tea don't work. That's how that is. That's that same vibration right there.
Islam.
Talking like it's just some type of book, story book.
Yep. That's
What about your
No,
mother?
that's
Your
like-
mother
that's
probably
like-
in the
that's
house
like-
behind
Yeah,
you.
he's mad. That's disrespectful.
that's like you saying I'm a Moorish American. Somebody say, "Oh, well, you look black to me." Damn,
Exactly.
bruh, I'm gonna beat your ass for that.
Yeah, no, we might have to rumble like straight up.
Like for real.
And I'm fighting the case off of it was a hate crime because he called me black. I
Islam.
had to defend my
That is a
damnation.
hate crime.
I beat
That's
his
defamation
ass.
of character. That's
Nah, man.
defamation of
Yo,
character.
Like,
Real rap, bro.
bruh.
We got Moore's got to start looking at it like that. Like, if you
No,
call me
that's
black,
defamation of
like,
character.
yeah, defamation of character.
It is.
You just subjugated my
That's a
bloodline.
that's
Calling me black.
a
That's William Dungy right
yeah,
there.
that's
That's
Yeah,
William
that's
Dungy.
a war crime. That's a
yeah.
war crime. That's a war crime.
Damn.
War means
that's a
confusion.
Yo.
they need their
Confusion.
heads
This
cut
whole
off.
platform up here is a state of a war crime. The whole thing right now is a war crime that they're doing. The
Damn.
whole thing.
And
Because it's all
trespassing.
confusion. The whole thing. Everybody on here should be charged with a war crime.
Damn.
War means confusion.
Oh yeah, let's give him the benefit of the doubt and let him talk.
Okay,
But he's not saying nothing, brother. He sounds like a child. He's not saying nothing.
No, these are our brothers. We gotta ride with them, right?
Good. I love you, Grand Sheik. You're the best.
And you can take those pegs, Greg. You can take those pegs. I can jog. You can take those pegs.
Man, dog.
Unaware of certain things. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass on that one.
Okay, brother.
Yeah, I know you are.
You want to say?
Yes, indeed. First and foremost, I want to make sure that Joe, the lawyer, and the audience knows that not all Moors are part of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Moorish Science Temple of America is one of the organizations that was formed in 1913, the early part of the 20th century. But there was already Moors in existence. Moors didn't come by the fact of a religious belief per se. Moors are descendants of who their forefathers were. Joe, I read in your book, your chapter, The Noble El Bey, you had stated, and I quote, one of the crazier things about this idea is that the vast majority of African Americans in the U.S. likely have very little to no Moroccan ancestry at all. I want to stop right there on that point. I think first we have to define, what a Moor is. And according to the ancient, most ancient dictionaries in the English language, Moors were always considered to be the people of a darker hue, darker complexion, what people say black in a colloquial term, but of Northwest Africa. Now, it's not only, we're not talking about the Kingdom of Morocco that was in 1956. We're talking about the ancient Moroccan Empire, which precedes that. And a lot of times the etymology, people want to go back to the Greek etymology of Moris, which means to be black or charred. However, there's an etymology in an older language than Greek that goes back to the Aramaic or the Phoenician, which means those of the West. And it has a specific etymology where it's dealing with the setting of the sun and how the darkness of the night sky comes in. That's the idea behind this word of Ma'arib in Hebrew, Ma'kreb in Arabic, or Mahurin in the ancient Phoenician language. So first and foremost, I want to set that out, that when we speak as Moors, we're speaking there's a racial context to Moor, there's also an ethnic context to Moor, and there's also a nationality context to the word Moor. And it's not just to the Kingdom of Morocco, but it's to all of Northwest Africa that was historically known as the land of the Moors. And at one point for 800 years, it includes Spain and Portugal as in Al-Andalus. So when we talk about Moors, we're connecting the ancient forefathers back to their descendants having to be in Americans, the Western Hemisphere, not just particularly to the United States of America, but within the many lands that consist of North and South America and the Caribbean. So I wanted to put that out there first, because that's a misunderstood subject. And when we talk about African Americans, this is a social construct it has no reality besides going back maybe like 30 or 40 years ago when it was popularized by Jesse Jackson, and it may have been mentioned before that. But when we're talking about Moors, we're talking about in the context of a racial context, we're talking in the context of an ethnic context, we're talking in context as a nationality or those who have a national origin of being Moors.
Okay, appreciate that input, Brother Issa. I want to speak a little bit more directly to some of the stuff that you said, Joe the lawyer. So, for starters, just to clarify some things, the Moor Science Temple as an organization, I'm not a member of the Moor Science Temple of America. I'm not a member, but the Moor Science Temple of America is not a sovereign citizen organization, and as an ideology, it doesn't subscribe to the sovereign citizen ideology. Okay, so that's for starters. I'm not a member of the Moor Science Temple.
There we go. There we go.
Organization.
They coming back around to clean it up.
And what the thing is,
say that again, what?
I said coming back around to clean it up.
Yeah, they better.
For sure.
Yeah, because they was thrashing them.
Yeah, they better.
Who were and maybe are members of the Moor Science Temple, who outside of that in their extracurricular perspectives of things may subscribe to sovereign citizen ideology. So I want to say that for starters. Secondly, in terms of when we speak about this treaty, so I'm just going to try to give you a quick, short 5-minute rundown on the nuts and bolts to the Moorish identity and those who subscribe to it generally, from a historical perspective and how that plays out in a legal perspective. All right, so for starters, when we talk about the element of the transatlantic slave trade and the African American population, the question is African Americans descendants of Moors? And not specifically Moroccans, because in the U.S. Dictionary of Races and People, this is on our website as well, we have a research tab that has a myriad of articles that break down all of the historical elements. But according to the U.S. Dictionary of Races and People, there's Moors and then there's Moroccans. So there's two different groups. Although Moroccans are descendants of Moors as well, they're not necessarily Moors in that context. So the question is, are African Americans Moors? Now, there's a Negro Act, or it's called the Negro Law of the South. I believe it's it's in the 1700s. If somebody on Illimere, other Issa, if y'all could pull a source real quick, it'd be great. If someone in the chat could pull it, just so we could show Joe the lawyer, so he knows we're not just making this stuff up. It says that the Negro, the definition of Negro, shall be confined to slave Africans, and then parentheses it says ancient Berbers and their descendants. Okay, and it says this doesn't include the Egyptians, free Moors, or Negro Asiatics such as the Lascars, right? So the name of this law was dealing with the rights, disabilities, etc. of the Negro. Okay, and it said that the Negro shall be confined to slaved Africans. So that means if you were enslaved, then you were, you took the identity of Negro, according to this act. Okay? And it said that in parentheses, ancient Berbers. So when you look up Moors, it tells you they were Berbers. It tells you that Berber is one of the major, ethnic origins or groups comprising Moors in its official definition. So that's a source from U.S. law that solidifies that. There's also the element of, so for example, right, you see how we have 50 states in the United States of America. So if you were to go to France or to England or to Spain, let's say someone lives in, New York. They when they go to these different countries, they're not going to go and say that, oh, okay, I'm a New Yorker, or I'm from New York. You're from the U.S. That's the international identity. The international identity is USA, right? So the same structure that exists now existed before the colonial or colonization of Africa, as far as jurisdictions. So my point to prove that is there's an ICJ case in which there's a discussion over the Western Sahara. Okay, the Western Sahara was in dispute with Spain or France and Morocco or something to that effect. And the International Court said that the Sultan of Morocco, his territorial jurisdiction extended as far as his religious suzerainty. We have that source and article as well. If anybody can, send me those, and I'll make sure before the show is over, before the discussion is over, I'll show our friend Joe here. But the point is that what this case does is it establishes that the several jurisdictions that was in Africa in which slave trading may have occurred, those local chiefs or kings didn't have the authority, just as a governor or a mayor or some kind of other elected official under the president doesn't have the authority to do, because the jurisdiction was with the Sultan of Morocco in terms of West Africa and Northern Africa. And there's also treaties that predate that between the British and the Sultan of Morocco. It's in one of our books, Introduction to Moorish Treaties. It's a treaty, I believe, from that one right there. It's from 1714 or something to that effect. And that treaty, the sovereign of Britain recognizes the Sultan of Morocco as the ruler of all of West Africa. And the reason or the way Morocco became the ruler of all of West Africa is because it invaded the Songhai Empire, which sort of set things in motion for the transatlantic slave trade to take place. So my point is that when we discuss who Moors were historically, from a historical and a legal perspective, they were West Africans. And we know for a fact that maybe not as much to the degree that is said, but we know for a fact that there were human trafficking of West Africans, i.e. Moors, to the Americas. Okay, so my point is there's also a point in history where we have Quincy, the president, John Quincy Adams, not John Quincy, I forget this president, but I know his name is, there's a Quincy or there's an Adams in there somewhere. But he actually freed Abdul Rahman, who was a slave, who was captured. He was enslaved and brought to America, but he was captured in Africa. He was from Timbo, and he wrote a letter to the Sultan of Morocco for his freedom. And the Sultan of Morocco interceded on his behalf with the U.S. president to get him free. So my point is this: whether I would not go and say that this treaty makes one exempt from American law, having a thorough understanding of U.S. law myself, it actually makes the Bill of Rights and the Constitution binding on a group of people who didn't have access to those rights being binding during slavery. You understand? Because there was an apology for slavery that took place in 2008. And one of the articles says by Congress put it out in 2008. And it says that whereas Africans were subjected to the indignities of being stripped of their names and heritage, being stripped of the name and heritage It's the denationalization. It's the taking away of the identity. And when we look back to the medieval era, all the way into the colonial era, before Negro and before Black and before these terms, which was created through legislation, similarly, which I brought up earlier, which is the Negro Law of South Carolina, which became one of the defining laws that defined and made Negro a statutory identity, which we know Black, colored, African American descent from. All right, so I just wanted to make a couple of those points, and I digress to anyone else who wants to elaborate on some things. But I just want to bring those things in the focus.
Islam.
Can I respond?
Yes, absolutely.
So crap, I'm getting a little feedback here. That's okay. I think I can honestly agree with you with a lot of what you are saying, because what I was operating under, and I don't have the same understanding. I mean, I concede I do not have the same understanding of Moorish and or African history that you do. So
Islam,
I was operating, under the umbrella.
Please, more.
They keep trying to do it. They keep even though the brother tried to make it sound all elaborate, his whole thing ended off that we came over here on boats. See, that's not part of the whole story. That means this is not our land. Then
that's what he said he agreed with.
Yeah, see, no, that's
what he agreed with too.
That's why he had to say
But Europeans say he agreed. That's what he agreed with.
Cause ain't that just another African American story?
Islam.
And why they ain't talking about the prophet? If we gonna talk law, we got
still not talking about prophet.
Why when he brought up the treaty that he didn't say, okay, so just like you explained earlier, Mo, this Morocco that they seem to be talking about was established in the 1950s, and before then it was called Marrakesh, right?
Yeah.
But it was signed at Morocco in 1787. So where's at Morocco?
You know what?
Here.
I just got add something on to that. That's equivalent to a child asking where he come from. That's what that Moroccan is doing. The light-skinned dude in the bottom, he's asking. He's asking for his identity, not ours. So okay, hold on. So here is the problem. They're asking for their identity. They're not asking us. We know ours. They're asking for recognition for their identity. Because we already recognize them as our children, but we haven't given them an identity. But they gave us all the identities that they would give themselves. So it's the case. So we need to teach on a level as they're the ones that's lost and need their identity. Am I correct or am I wrong? If I'm wrong, correct. Somebody please correct me.
You're correct, because like when we deal with their independence, they even admit in their independence that they're not really from England or Britain or whatever. They said they were migrants or immigrants. So they don't know where they come from really. But we know they come out of the bloodlines of the Dravidians in them.
So can I ask this question? I was reading this book by J.A. Rogers. All right. So J.A. Rogers says. Listen. He's not. No, listen to what he said though. He said Moore's lying. Listen. So J.A. Rogers said there was a group of Moors that was called the Grimaldis that went up to Europe before anybody went up to Europe. Have y'all seen the movie Ice Age? Y'all remember how they got trapped up there?
Yeah.
This is what I was saying. They're asking for their identity. They're the ones who lost the pigmentation because of the ice age. And they don't know who they are because their pineal gland is still frozen. It hasn't thawed out yet.
Right. But then we're also going to look at Asiatics who've been on this side of the hemisphere in the north that didn't turn to Europeans.
Eskimos.
Indeed.
Because we've been on the whole planet. Right. So, and we know that the whole
planet. Wait, but If they come down south, wouldn't they get sick?
Say it again.
If the Eskimo, they're culturally and genetically gifted to withstand cold. So if they come down south, wouldn't they get sick?
Well, look at it like this. Isn't there snow on mountaintops on the continent, which is hot?
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of being able to live in the cold or the hot or whatever is not really based in how you look, because we know that when we do research far back enough, Europeans aren't even from the Caucasus Mountains.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They were placed there.
Yeah.
And then that's a whole other story about, okay, well, how they get there if they're not from there.
Mm-hmm. But I think that was like put into the story of the Grimaldi man. It's just that he took it and made it seem like he has ancient origin that far.
Right, and then remember the whole Grimaldi was also solidified with Sheikh Angelia, who had a European as a wife.
Yeah, yep.
So if he really loved his wife, then he's not going to throw her under the bus and talk about she's from a test tube and all that.
Exactly.
No, because he can't say that's who he's sleeping with.
He doesn't want to sleep on the couch or whatever like that. He wants to sleep in the bed too. Like, it ain't, you know what I mean? We already know what it is. But you know when they start, like, for example, like when they say, think about how long it would take for like if we say somebody who had the face of an Olmec, right? How long is it going to take a face of an Olmec to go from that to a face like Donald Trump?
No, never. It's
Jim
just,
Carrey.
Yeah.
He'll die first.
I think that's part of their science to make us think that could actually happen.
Yeah.
But what we're looking at is literally gene variations like that happened through the Dravidian line, where they got so-called defects in the genes, and it came out as the albinism, and we see it in certain of us, like that we can produce albinism. So like I'm looking at the European as like a perfected albinoid. Like we took albinism and perfected it in man. So he wouldn't just wouldn't hurt from the sun and all. So he have a little melanin, but not everything. That's the experiments to give him melanin.
Islam.
A little
bit.
So
speaking in the prophet,
because even the people who albinos got Moorish blood.
You say,
you know what I'm saying? Even those are two melanated Moors that have albino baby, that's an albino. That still is Moorish blood. I don't care what he look like. That's a Moor.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's easier to.
But that's why I'll be like, even
it's easier to understand like how they could even be here, like other than saying they just they came out of they came from like some cave or something. It would be more understandable to think.
No, you
like
Moors made them up.
Yeah.
Like people, like you guys made them up, like for real. You guys,
I would agree with that. I could take accountability for that. You know what? I could do that, brother. You right. You sure is right. Somebody was I could take accountability for that. If we made them up, we made them up.
And again, too, it's not a thing of it's not a negative on Europeans or whatever. Like because we found out there's an origin before the Caucasus Mountains. Now they're the whatever. No, the devil is who created them.
You know so would it be safe to say? So would it be safe to say when the prophet said, "What shall we call him?" Was he referring to them or us?
In the article,
he said, "What shall we call them?"
Yeah,
was he referring to us or them?
Yeah, what shall we call them was referring to us because we didn't know who we were, and we were thinking that we're Negro black colored or whatever. So the article was, like, what shall we call this Negro black colored people? Then he goes into the whole thing with the history, and then if your ancestors came from somewhere and they had a name and all that stuff, how you get over here and you have no name? What the hell are you talking about?
Indeed.
See,
you know what I mean?
a lot of times, I'm sorry, Grand Sheik.
Go ahead, Mark.
a lot of times we have to erase. We gotta erase those lines, those imaginary lines when it comes down to what you would call technology, because our ancestors had advanced technology that we aren't using
There you
today.
go.
So
Right.
when they say it's nothing new under the sun, it's
Mhm.
it's plantation, it's plants that are hybrids that were
Yeah.
created. I'm talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago from the same people
Yep.
who created
Yep.
them.
So what you saying is that we played with gene splicing in order to create that right there?
All that.
Yeah,
All
it
that.
had to be
That's
that
the
There you go.
ancient
Oh,
gene splicing
Some of these
okay,
before.
but
animals were
but
created
wait.
by
So
us
how?
too.
So what shall we call them?
modern
Hybrid at
European,
best.
modern Europeans or hybrids
Hybrids at
Right.
best.
or albions. But to say,
Albion. I take Albion. I would take Albion.
you know what I mean, because
I would.
I, I I always put so-called in front of everything. Put
yeah,
so-called in front of everything because
yeah,
Indeed.
yeah,
Yeah.
because even to say Albion, we know that we're the first albinos too. So
Islam.
Yep.
they're not even really
yep,
Albion, right?
that Alba, that's an Arabic word.
You might as well
Right?
just give him a.
That's
You
not
might as well
that's
just
not a
give him a. You might as
caveman
well call
word.
him H1N1. Hey, call him H1N1.
Yeah, like the test tube doing crazy. Yep. That makes sense though. That makes sense.
That's why I
Like
said
when
It
we
earlier.
do.
think about the ancient
That that's why they
mechanics that
make up
we
the
had.
concept of religion. I mean, of race. They make up the concept of race because they're not part of the human
The
family.
family, right,
They
right.
they
That
did
makes
everything
sense.
that was going on to them. They did it to us.
Mm-hmm.
When we call each other Negro, black, color, etc., we're not part of the human family. They
Mm-hmm.
did what's really going on with them to us.
Islam.
Yeah, yeah.
They do not have a nationality. They don't have one. They don't have one.
And then we have the
They don't have one.
situation. Then we have the situation with these Moors that are having this dialogue with him, and then they're interchanging American law and U.S. law as if they're relative,
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
come on, man.
based
Yep.
on that same concept
Yep.
that the European has some type of position or something like that. They don't have a position like that.
Yep.
When
Everything
they
that they have was inherited, or they grafted themselves onto somebody else's stuff. Like they don't have their own stuff like that.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
He did.
Absolutely. Constitution
He said.
built
Oh,
off of
he said.
Muslim law.
Then he called America a corporation, and then went in to go say that he went on to correct himself after he
mm-hmm.
called it a corporation and said that the people engaged in slavery rather than saying that the corporation engaged in slavery.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to legitimize it by saying that the Songhai Empire was doing it way before it was doing it over there. I was, whoa, brother.
And if we look at that, that's really the Songhai Empire and the basically the
In
Arab
California.
speakers mixing with like coming together. They make it seem like it's a war or whatever. If it was a fight, yeah, all right. But they came together after that. Then they came together with Mali and all that. When they talk about the whole Western Africa, that was really like the Western Moorish Empire, and then on to the West over here.
Islam.
But see, they try to put it in
That's what I
slavery.
always say.
You know what I just thought about, yo? If they so-called released slavery and said peonage is wrong and all that, then why are they still calling the people slaves? like you're still referring to it as slaves, but they let the slaves go in 1865.
Yep.
Wait,
So
can I ask you something? Wait, I thought the slavery ended in 1777.
Right.
Matter of fact, 1774. I thought it ended in 1774 with the Articles of Association. Slavery ended three times. How to end three times?
Yeah.
So
and they kept calling them slaves.
On the concept of the Americas, we kind of confused that the slavery thing was an our thing. We were the one who were fighting against slavery. So
Okay, I can
That
believe that.
that whole concept of slavery is crazy. These
like
Europeans were still paying annual tribute to the Moors in the
exactly
1800s. In the
to our cousins
1800s.
though. Yeah, to our
Right.
cousins though. Like it wasn't the tributes was coming from the Britons. You understand? The Franks. These we had we was fighting amongst each other when it came down to this, because this was the land of the free. This is the reason why everybody in the whole entire world is trying to get here now.
Get over here.
Oh yeah.
Because we
So who gave
always allow people to come here.
So who gave them that little piece of paper on 1774?
We did. Because you gotta remember they weren't recognized. They were still under the crown. So they wasn't even recognized. They were able to come here and develop a government. Even when they got here doing the colony, they came here as indentured servants. They came here to work.
Yep.
They were slaves.
Okay.
They watched us do government for like about 10 years when we was doing the
I was asking
so we showed them
how so they was like so they followed us like puppies everywhere we went.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what
like in order. Okay,
That's why
they was our servants. They was our servants.
Yo,
trustees.
They were created to be a worker race.
That's why it's the law.
Yep.
It's the law.
Yep.
Ipso juris more subjects.
Yep.
It's the law.
Yep.
It's the law.
That's crazy. So they fighting to not go back into subjugation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why they keep claiming American, and our people ride with it, because our people aren't looking at it from the perspective that they're trying to find a place in the human family. They can't say that they're European, because when you go back and study European, that's our stuff. And where else are they gonna claim other than over here? There's nowhere else for them to really claim as home, really.
Damn, that's crazy when you think about it. Like just wandering around and no place to call home. Like, bruh.
That's why at the end of the day, we gotta check ourselves when it comes down with these so-called Europeans.
Yeah.
You gotta check ourselves, because we did this.
And we really in violation, because some of our ancestors. So you gotta look at it from this perspective when you talk about gene splicing, right? So I had to sit down with this. So it was like, all right, we gene splice, right? So this thing is half human, half animal, and then one of our ancestors went and had sex with it.
Yeah, that's where it's over.
Now,
say what? You said say what?
So you got to look at it. Listen to it from this perspective, for real. All right, so we gene splicing.
I love it.
We create this hybrid, right? And then one of our ancestors had the bright idea to have sex with it. So picture. Now, mind, you got to think about how we operated. We iron fist. So this hybrid has a child, and this child look like one of your family members, but it's an animal too. How you think that would work out when it came down to charges? So when you talking about sending them over there and mixing them up and sending them, because somebody probably had to hide it. Now that's just, you get what I'm saying? Boom, and introducing it because it was created. They from here.
You talking about? You sound like the creature 300.
They from here.
He said they had to hide it. He said somebody had to hide it.
Man, you got to think about it. That's violation, and you'll be put to death. Right now, you have sex with an animal and see how somebody feels about you.
And what a way to try to hide it back in the bloodline from which it was created.
So what you would do is you sent. All right, I'm gonna send you over here, right? Boom. Now that's where that surname came from. So it was like these illegitimate children. Then you got these harems, right? So we doing it. We doing it away from the empire. So it ain't It ain't going on over here. It's going on over there. So we traveling back and forth and doing it on the other side.
Yep.
Indeed.
So then, in order to hide it, you start
Trying to,
relinquishing
and like you
because
said,
now
trying to hide it. Yep.
trying to hide it. Now you got to figure out a way to protect. You don't want to kill your offspring.
Right? It's
Yeah,
just, it's also,
yeah.
also look at it with from the perspective of whether it was mixed with animal, came from Asiatic womb, whatever. These beings are our responsibility, and we haven't been responsible with them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why they got to run amok, and now we're looking at it like, oh, they shouldn't be doing this, they shouldn't be doing that, when we're the ones who let them run amok. They're not doing the stuff that they're doing right now because they want to. They're about genetic survival right now.
Islam.
The sun's killing them, water's killing them, air's killing them, everything's killing them.
The animals.
And the only way that they're gonna really, survive like that is if they mix with us, really and truly. Like, they're not gonna survive on their own.
Is that the reason why the first time the Moor chose to mix, to try to survive their genetic, species, because it was going bad the first times?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, yo, motherfucker, let's try to save them, yo. Like, mix them up. Like, oh shit, genetic annihilation.
Yeah, like when they did. I see what you're saying though.
Yeah.
Like when they did the gene splice, it wasn't human enough.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right. So
like when they first created it, it wasn't human enough.
Oh my god, it's like Dr. Moreau.
I can see like it was. Yo,
Island of Dr. Moreau, dog. This is what that is.
Exactly what
like,
it is.
This is really what that is. Like, and then mix it with a little bit of Jurassic Park, minus the dinosaur. He's the dinosaur. We're splicing goddamn DNA through like mosquitoes, bro. This is real shit. I can see it now.
But
They showed us in the movie. That's them. That's really them. Us creating them. We're really the scientists. We're creating these Jurassic Park fucking dinosaurs, and everybody come to see it.
I be wondering why all the movies be looking the same. I wonder why all the movies look the same.
They know.
I sit here and tell my wife. My wife says, "Let's watch this movie." I said, "Yo, I seen that movie. You have it? It looks the same as last one. The same. You know what I'm saying?" No lie. It's like that now. I can't even enjoy a movie.
Yeah, but look at it. Why is it like that? Because really, they don't have a culture, so everything's retrograde to them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
They don't have the intuition or the tap into the Akashic to bring up something new. Everything that they do is new and improved.
That's why they all worship Tahuti. That's why they just deify Tahuti in every little way they can. Yahweh Tahuti, God Tahuti. Everything is Tahuti because it's like the wisdom of us written down on scribes in our mind that they can never really access. So it's just like subjugated. They keep y'all from finding out exactly who we're talking about right now. We have animals really, and we're just trying to survive it.
The problem is that we steady evolve. That's the problem. So you can't study something that keep changing.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a forever study.
Yeah,
our DNA,
Islam.
Still.
Islam.
They'll always be behind.
Indeed.
They'll always be behind. It's
true from the time that we do that evolve throughout our lifetime, our own facial structures, you know what I'm saying, all that. So yeah, I could agree with that. Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we live alchemy. It like just keeps on getting better with the change under the molecules of the body. If you do right, like you eat right, you keep yourself in shape. You could have a good.
That's
long
what they say.
time.
What they say?
So I was explaining to somebody about the
age one more, and then that already go back to the blood.
And I was explaining to somebody about about white people, right? So I explained it like this. The happened was, all right, so after we had, did what we did, and we, what I'm saying, we went to take them to the first time they was gonna see a baby be born, right? They've never seen a baby be born. It's like a child. Daddy, where do I come from? When your name, like, yeah. So the child asked. They said, "Hey, mom, father, what are we doing here, son? You better witness how you got here, right?"
Oh,
so when the baby popped the head out, the child seen it, and from that point on, it never wanted to have a child. So, and this goes back to us seeing Bay, peace be on him for his laws. He said damn, I forgot what he said. Oh yeah, he said that they come from Patagonia, South America, right? So they was dying out. They was dying out because they did not want to mate. That's nature. You know what I'm saying? Right. So they was literally like the brother said, they was literally killing themselves without killing themselves. That's what that's exactly what they doing now. They're killing themselves without killing themselves.
Repeating itself right now.
Yeah,
they doing that right now.
All the eating the
Europeans becoming extinct right now.
But we have what it is that before man, right? As the prophet said, before man, or how you prepare, that time didn't exist. We got to stop putting them imaginary lines in it too. It's still going on because we still in it.
Yeah, it never stopped, right?
Yeah.
You can't explain not time to somebody who don't even know about time. How do you explain that to newly waking Moors, brother?
Oh, no, it's steps. It's levels. It's definitely levels.
That's why Drew Ali said you start with they're not Negro black colored. If they can't get over they're not Negro black colored, then ain't nothing else to talk about. If they can't get past they're not Negro black colored.
Nope.
Yeah, you can't break Negro black color. You can't break the time spectrum. There's no way.
Like it's not gonna work. You know what I mean?
I like that though.
It's a lot more.
He said we have to stop teaching in time.
It's love.
I just want to go around. If anybody got any last comments, we'll definitely do a part 2 because we're not done with these dudes, but they still got a lot of video in there. So probably Monday or something. If Moors are freed up, Monday we could do something. Get in again a little bit. This was just the recap, not the recap. This was just the class for tomorrow, because tomorrow we got our fall equinox walk tomorrow. So we're not gonna have any class tomorrow. So this was the makeup for that. But yeah, if any more has got anything closing out, we'll just go around and you can put out your last remarks.
Islam.
Yeah, real quick, Islam.
I appreciate you, brothers. Peace and love. All blessings to you all. For any listeners out there, to know yourself is to know the world. When you're looking for the history, you can look at everybody else's history. You'll find yourself. Assalamu alaikum, brothers.
Alaikum salam. Salam. Go ahead, brother Yusuf.
Yeah, it's Islam. I just want to give thanks to the Grand Sheikh and his platform and all the Moors on the panel right now. Like I want like a personal give thanks. You know what I mean? Like doing all this studying sometimes, it's a lot of pressure on my brain. Like I stress out because of the information I know and not being able to talk to nobody because everybody's still in that state of mind. But coming on here, you know what I mean? And being able to speak the knowledge I have in my brain and being able to talk and y'all know what I'm saying. Like, I really want to give thanks for that. You know what I mean? I'm not crazy. You know what I mean? Like I want to tell people that, you know what I mean? But they're looking at me like, yo, he's crazy. And I'm not crazy. Like, so I want to thank y'all for letting me have that in my mind. Like, there's other people out here who think just like me. So I'm not bugging.
Islam.
I'm not bugging. So give thanks. You know what I'm saying? Peace to that, man.
Well, like peace and love to everybody. I mean, I already know we're gonna go back into this on Monday, but this whole joint made me think of that scene in The Matrix where they going to see the Oracle for the first time with Neo, and they traveling, and Neo's looking out the window at all the places he used to eat at, And he's like, man, all these places of my life and things in my life that never really happened. And he asks Trinity, the woman, like, what does that mean? And she says that the Matrix can't tell you who you are. So I say that to say that we looking at these dudes trying to talk about things which they know not about and trying to expound upon, metaphysics. They don't even understand the first thing to really being black or Negro, black, and colored. Then, they're still looking for the Matrix to tell them who they are. And being that creation on there talking about what was not.
Islam.
Yeah. So Islam.
Islam. Give thanks to all the Moors on this platform, to the Grand Sheik. I've been traveling around the world. I've been to the military, so not having someone to talk to, I know how you feel, man. Like, I done seen a lot of shit. Excuse my language. I done seen a lot of shit. I done did a lot of shit. Shit I didn't want to have to. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't. Man, it's some stuff that as Moors, it's some stuff that we just gotta walk. We just gotta walk with it.
Yeah.
We have to literally like be soldiers, and having this platform, it's a good way for us to let out some laughter.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
we serious all the time, but that's just who we are. But when we around other people who get what we stand and who get our telepathy, because as Moors, we necessarily don't have to speak in order to, get another Moor.
Right.
But as Moors, man, like Cujo said, we just have to. Like Grand Sheik Cujo said, we just have to be better. We have to perfect ourselves every day and be able to teach somebody else. And that's just what we got to do, man. And I give thanks because this platform allows us to just be ourselves, just be goofy at the same time, be able to teach. I wish there was more platforms like this. I believe everybody be able to get educated the way they should be, rather than from these European institutions.
Islam.
Islam.
Give thanks for that, man. Give thanks for that.
Honors to the panel Moors. Honors to the Moors in the chat. We see y'all. Any new Moors out there? Honors to you, or unawakened or newly awakened Moors. Honors to you. And again, this is just part of what it is that we do. Make sure that the people got access to the info. Make sure the people have access to other Moors, so that it doesn't feel like you're alone on this road or whatever. Because this is a lonely road. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Woo! Hey, as I see it, not anymore. I'm looking. We connected like Voltron. That's all.
Right. We got the nation here right now.
There you go.
This building right now. This nation.
So any other Moors, look out for the link on Monday. We'll be going live again to watch some more of this attorney debate, as well as just put the Moors' heads together. Peace and love to all. Honors to the Prophet Noble Jew Ali for all the great work that he did. Honors to all the Moorish master teachers who put this word out for us to get it. And again, honors to all the mothers worldwide. Peace and love to all.
Peace and love to all.
Peace and love.
Most don't learn till it's too late. Most say that they real, but they too fake. Most act minor, but think they too great. Most meet fake just cause they too big. Most don't learn till it's too late. Most say that they real, but they too fake. Most act minor, but think they too great. Most meet fake just cause they too big. Welcome to Scarborough. Youths want cash without tango. Candle magic got me calling on Shango. When I strike, I'm coming from lightning angles, wet up in your ride like dangles. Know your place. When me and the God step into place, devils get step in their face. No matter your race, watch your speech. We defend peace with justice. Love for the God make you shit like mustard or run like custard. Too slow, so you know how it go. Send him to Asa. I'm not the one to judge you, bro, or judge you, sis. Humanity written from hip to hip, but you're shaking them and not getting your womb equipped. Degrading yourself for women's rights, not saving yourself. Turning a dyke, but won't spiritually raise yourself. Waste of sperm, can't even wait to perm. Getting viruses and symptoms, you're thinking it's germs. Making so many mistakes, from none you learn. Seeing your future as the fucking cauldron turn. Ease the burn of your young son's death. Blaming the influence, but never blaming yourself. Driver shot, but never a crooked cop. Crip shot, but never a racist cop. Racism doesn't exist, so stop. Rex 84, King Alfred got him on the block for chopping. Nigga Mortus, abuse ain't stopping. Guns on your shirts, but your pistol's not cocking. Popping and locking, guns jammed for 10 you're locked in. Or eternal sleep in a closed coffin. Most don't learn till it's too late. Most say that they real, but they too fake. Most act minor, but think they too great. Most meet fake just cause they too bait. Most don't learn till it's too late. Most say that they real, but they too fake. Most act minor, but think they too great. Most meet fake just cause they too bait. They got you stuck on some fakeness. We revealed this, you heard of us. Official lower self-murderers. These Mars come equipped for warfare. Tam or Kufi. These Sufi are my corp of Mufti. For all those who wanna profile and pose. See a nigga dressing or a fag made his clothes. You all alone in that gear, cousin. Gangsta hardcore thugs, you just frontin'. Cops keep them fake crews running like they supposed to. Rich like Scarface, you never come close to. I can see it, eyes tell no lies. Assalamu alaikum, selling white sugar in those bean pies. Giving dollars to Doc's lawyer who took the bar. And between you and your leader, he's being a bar. Some say I move blame, brother Dawood or Azariah. Pastor Beverly, the Messiah. David Walker, action not a talker. Sleepwalker, wake up, you're just daydreaming. Dirty Moors don't want to be God and stay heathen. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Most don't learn till it's too late. Most say that they real, but they too fake. Most act minor, but think they too great. Most meet fake just cause they too bait. Most don't learn till it's too late. Most say that they real, but they too fake. Most act minor, but think they too great. Most meet fake just cause they too bait. Rappers think they hot, niggas warm like Luke. Oops, call them dirty Moors is what we taught to do. Not the Klansmen, burning some cross for you. If he's got a speechwriter, who's the boss to you? Voting for Obama, I see he's off like you. I walk, don't need a boxed up Porsche like you. Loving the fiat, dirty Moors thugging for fiat. Grabbing old ladies' purses, they mugging for fiat. Some taking, some big, for fiat they drugging. Fiat is back by nothing, fam, I'm not bluffing. Players' hands on their ass like it's turkey they stuffing. Doing it for your boys, treat your girl like nothing. Matriarch rules, patriarch fools. I'm seeing gods act like men, thinking like mules. Square my rough edges without mason tools. I never took an oath, so I'm revealing mason rules. Most don't learn till it's too late. Most say that they real, but they too fake. Most act minor, but think they too great. Most meet fake just cause they too bait. Most don't learn till it's too late. Most say that they real, but they too fake. Most act minor, but think they too great. Most meet fake just cause they too bait. Produced by D&D, Gagotas, Iron Sheik, CMP, Iron Sheik.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gate Cemetery, February the 4th day. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes it a little of a lost case. With case laws, we bring them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mixing with Proctor Hallway. I was in the lost state. Prophets took me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Salt-Bae, prepping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. And over door, I lay in plain sight. The people still can't see it, so the snake's still showing up. Stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death, given slavery. Looking for light, the book of Genesis. Astroplane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life. Finish him.
Morris Lamar, key man oracle, using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical, lost and metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic, facts like a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic, calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved, or cut like a close shave, drowned in my brainwaves, squash my heat waves, activating Kundalini, Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini, Selassie I in exile, reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real, all I see is false evidence, they are feminists, stomped on by elephants, won't like no prejudice but want Moorish benefits, when you feel the cold magnetic resonance, apis horns of the sacred book called Maleficent, great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness, no pestilence, ace all the testaments, tap into remembrance, never to forget again, use energy right, not put spell effects on men, wandering the earth plane with no veiled shades, keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades, it's been decades since Christian crusades, not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets, holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday, war ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors present Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?